In a game of chess, pawns are considered the weakest pieces on the board, and for very good reason. However, if your strategy is sound, even the humble pawn can be effectively weaponized against much bigger pieces.
She looks metallic.
Though I can't quite recall overnight sensation.
Welcome to the Chop. For this episode, we have a ton of things to discuss. The Trinity leaks, Miss Elliot weaponized against Candy and Tina, and there's something wrong with Gottmik, isn't it? And as usual, the confessional chart and the speculation. So let's move on to the Trinity leaks. Trinity is allergic to NDAs. When All Stars 4 came out, for the love of herself, she couldn't shut the f*** up and not talk. She might have some problems in keeping her mouth shut. So what's in these leaks that is of interest to us? When you have a queen that's been on the show, that's under NDA, and then she goes on Reddit on an alter ego and says something like this, what does this tell to you? I wonder, because to me, she's saying, well, they instructed somebody to do or not do something. This is important for us because it gives us even more insight into what is actually happening behind the scenes when they film. And keep all of this in mind. So let's go to the episode. We are greeted with the bottom queens. They are supposed to vote someone off. And so they vote someone off. Who do they vote off? Elliot. So I'm sorry, Elliot. Goodbye. It's been nice. Oh no, but wait. Elliot is not going home. Shocker. Elliot joins the winners. We are introduced to this shot of RuPaul. She asks Elliot to come in, and then she announces that they are going to present two different outfits on the runway. All fine. Perfect. What do we see after that? Nothing. Zero. Nada. We don't see the queen asking Elliot, why are you here? What happened to you? What happened to the other queens? We see absolutely nothing. Instead, we are hit with a ton of confessionals and a storyline. Ooh, Elliot is a spy. Elliot is a mole.
Ms. RuPaul's at the mall. She thinks she's slick, but I already caught on to her game.
I do not trust Elliot. Elliot the spy, honey. But keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Guess who I painted next to? Elliot.
And they are all serious. It's not a joke, which makes absolutely no sense. Unless you are high on something, nobody's going to believe this. What are you hiding? Because when you do shit like this, I start thinking, what's there? That piqued my attention for all the wrong reason, but it piqued my attention. So there's something going on with Candy's confessional, isn't it?
Why do you get to come back into the competition if you weren't one of the girls that won their lip sync during the first week?
There's just a tiny little bit of something there, isn't it? And what about this one?
Do you think that's gonna affect you?
No.
No?
First of all, bitch, who is talking to you? Second of all, girl, I don't even know you. You done just walked into the workroom, okay?
Wait a moment. I think I'm having déjà vu.
What the fuck is going on? Yo, I just walked into Drag Race and now I'm standing in the main stage and I don't know what is about to happen.
So let's see. Holes in the hat seem to be in the same position. Shirts look like they've been ironed the same way. And even the pimples over the left eyebrows look exactly the same. This is curious, isn't it? But remember, we are supposed to believe everything we are shown in her confessionals. Everything we see is 100% real. You get it, guys? And Tina, the f***ing clown. Because that's what she is. She is a clown. She jokes constantly. And even if you have no idea who Tina Burner is, you've seen episode 1. What does she do during the main episode? She jokes constantly.
A little bit of a New York legend here with you. I'm glad to see you here.
That just means I'm old. And so we're here to put that fire out with my large hose. We're more like the backdoor boys now, you know?
Well, that's fascinating backstory.
I mean, we got a lot of that going on today.
Back to you, Rue.
What does she do in the confessionals? She jokes constantly.
Fireworks show is fire. Oh my God, did I just do like Showgirls? I did!
Then we are on episode 2. What does she do on the main stage? She jokes. They made a joke about fucking poppers. Rue was laughing. They made a big deal about it.
You can't turn as much, and remember, the cameras are your friends. They're your lovers, darling.
I'm getting the poppers. We're ready to go.
That's good advice, and that's good advice for all the girls.
Poppers?
Poppers, yes.
But what is she doing in the confessional? She's being shady. She's been talking about a mole, like she really believes in it. You know, when I see things like this, the first thing that I think is that's some quality storytelling right there. From World of Wonder. That's the textbook on how to tell a compelling story. So, what the hell happened? Lucky for you, I have a theory. Elliot gets eliminated, okay? What does she do after she is eliminated? Well, she has to film the confessionals for the day. So she goes and films her confessional. She is vulnerable, she is defeated, she's in a weak position. And who does she film her confessional with? Well, usually the person on the other side of the desk is a producer, who might or might have not said something like, "We want you back," or "We are going to bring you back." But please, do us a favor. In order not to ruin the surprise, don't say anything, because you were not supposed to be back. It's just a change of mind that we have. Our dear Elliot goes back, she doesn't say anything, and all of that sets in motion a series of events that once editing is finished, our little pawn Elliot has been effectively weaponized against Candy and Tina. This is what I think happened. Of course, if you're doing something for someone that you didn't decide and people start asking questions, bugging you for an answer, maybe even make a joke about it, start calling you a mole. Oh, what are you? Are you a mole? Is that why you're not telling us? And maybe it even becomes a running gag and everybody is saying it. How would you feel? I would feel like shit because I am defending a decision that was not even mine. So we see Elliot poking a little bit Tina and Candy, a little bit. And of course we have our fabulous edit that brought us this incredible storyline of the mole. Is this a satisfactory answer for you about what the fuck has been going on? And if it's good for Elliot because it opens up the possibility of a victim edit, which as we know is a good thing on RuPaul's Drag Race, well, guess who's being fucked? Put yourself in the mind of Tina. You are on the show, you're having fun, you are being fun. When you go on the main stage, you have confirmation of this. The judges are laughing with you, they are praising you, and she is in that bubble. But we, the viewers, we see another story. We see her confessionals that look like they've been chopped up so that a stupid joke looks like she's bullying someone. We get this, she doesn't. Keep that in mind. We get it, she doesn't. Moving on, rehearsal. And if you think that what happened with the mole storyline was completely fucked, oh well, you're in for a very big treat. Let's talk about Gottmik for a moment. A song is playing, and so everybody now knows that she is a transgender man. And Gottmik breaks down. She has gender issues. I can understand that. Let's make this clear. I can understand it. These things are complicated. You might think that you are over them and then they resurface to bite you in the ass. I just find it a little bit convenient, but it can happen, especially if you're taken by surprise. Kind of like when you're planning to come out to your parents tomorrow, but someone suddenly outs you today. If you get what I mean. You see, when I see things like this, I start digging. And whenever I start digging, I can grant you I will find shit. And a ton of it. And it's World of Wonder, so it's going to be a mountain of shit. So, in order to understand what exactly happened, we have to first ask ourselves, how much did it take to film this episode? I cannot tell you officially how many days it took. What I can do is tell you how many days I think it took. From the way the episode was presented, it looks like filming took 2 days. It might be, but I'm not convinced, and this is why. I went in a little bit more details during the live stream, but for the main episode I'll keep it quick and easy. So let's take a snapshot of Elliot's hair during rehearsal and then compare it to when they start writing the lyrics. Well, it looks exactly the same, doesn't it? Now let's compare it to the moment when Rue announces the Maxi challenge. It looks different, doesn't it? And I know what you think, Maybe it's just different angles. Maybe it's the same style. Well, here is the same angle. Does it look the same to you? So I'm going to tell you what I think. It looks to me that during day 1 of filming this episode, they only did the 2 runways, and after Rue announced the Maxi challenge, that was it. The morning after, they put on the same clothes and went back to filming. And this is the day that interests me the most. Let's try to picture for a moment day 2. The queens are all punctual. Okay, they start filming in the workroom, let's say 8-9 a.m. Let's say 8 a.m. Let's be generous. They are all punctual, they are all there, and they are all ready to start writing. How much does it take to write lyrics? Well, they are queens, they're not songwriters. I would say that it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending on the queen, depending on what she wants to say. But it takes its time. But let's be generous, let's say that it takes 3 hours. Okay, so it's 11 a.m. Let's say that they teleport instantly to wherever they go to record their lyrics, okay? So it's still 11 a.m. They record their lyrics. How much is it? 20? 30 minutes per queen? Well, it depends on how much she fucks up. Because not everyone is going to go there and kill it in 5 minutes. Anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes, that's my best estimate. And you have 7 queens. Let's say 2 hours? 2 hours and a half? Then it's about 1 p.m. The queens go out for lunch. They have to eat, you know? At some point they have to eat. While they have lunch, there is somebody who is editing the audio. They have to auto-tune everything for 7 queens. It's again anywhere depending on your talent, but let's say anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes per queen. And then you have to render it, and then it has to go on everybody's iPod. So by the time all of this is done, it's 4 or 5 p.m. and they go into rehearsal and they have the music on their iPods. So you have to understand, there are a lot of ifs that has to be respected in order for Gottmik to end up rehearsing on that stage and hearing her lyrics on the iPod. I hope that you see where I'm going with this. So what the fuck happened? Well, I can only see 2 options in all of this. Number 1, the lyrics were recorded in advance. They were not recorded during the episode. Either they prepared them at home and they brought them with all the outfits that the production told them to get. But if this option is true, then it means that all the writing that we saw, that was acting. And it raises the fucking question, if they are acting, writing their own lyrics, what else are they acting? Because this is supposed to be real, this is supposed to be reality. It's not a good look. And this is option number 1. And if you think it's bad, wait until I tell you option number 2. Option number 2, they didn't have time to edit all of the lyrics, which means Gottmik didn't hear her lyrics. What does it mean? Well, it means that they misconstrued what was going on. Let's change this story a bit, make it a little bit more clickable. And this is option 2.A. What's option 2.B, which is the worst of all? After a long day, waking up, writing the lyrics, rushing to record them, rushing to auto-tune them, rushing to give them to the queen, they are here, they are rehearsing, and she was not expecting she would hear that lyrics. Was Gottmik assured that the lyrics wouldn't be ready, only to bait her into freezing during rehearsal? Or did they play the Queen's version on speaker without telling them which version would it be? And don't you think that a producer would have talked to Gottmik after lunch about the coming out in her lyrics? Or maybe Gottmik simply has such a bad memory that even though coming out during rehearsal is such a big deal, well, she simply forgot what she wrote in her lyrics. Sounds perfectly reasonable. Could be, right? That's a lot of interesting questions. Unfortunately, no matter how you look at this situation, it looks like shit. But after this long exercise in mental pleasuring, maybe we didn't even need to go this far. Maybe the editors themselves are here to tell us what really happened. After all, everything that airs is real, right? Everything. So this must be as well.
I did not know that I was going to have all these girls hear about my gender situation before I can even talk to them.
And there you have it. She was caught by surprise. Why was she caught by surprise? Well, I can only see two possible answers. Either Gottmik has the memory of a 90 years old, or she was baited into an early coming out. And that's a wonderful thing to do to a person with that kind of past. But I mean, were you really expecting anything different? And now, it's award season. So, let's give out our first PhiPhi Award.
Bullshit. 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 That's bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
That's a joke.
Every fucking time.
I was being realistic.
Realistic was bullshit. Girl, bullshit. You are a fucking liar.
Today's PhiPhi Award goes to Miss RuPaul Charles.
No matter what happens here, out there, or online, don't let anyone make you feel like a loser. No matter what happens online.
Oh, really? It doesn't matter, because I am of the opinion that it matters a lot. And that is a very disingenuous thing to say for a producer who should be fucking held accountable for weaponizing a fandom, both directly and indirectly. Directly by exaggerating situations, omitting information, creating fake drama in order to maximize our emotional reaction. And indirectly by staying silent about everything that they do in order to dramatize the show. So, I call bullshit. Dear Mamaru, go frack yourself.
Can I get an amen up in here? Amen. All right, now let the music play.
If you dream of exploiting everything and believe nature's not worth anything, if you sign the lease, all your wildest dreams, they will come true. They will come true. Now that we have that out of the way, let's move on to the charts. If you don't want any possible spoilers, then thank you for watching until now, give us an upvote, share our videos, whatever it is. And I'll see you next time. Let's look at this chart. It looks eerie, doesn't it? I mean, the confessionals don't lie. Let's go to the negative ones, shall we? First of all, Tina. Tina has a ton of negative confessionals. And after all that we've seen happening with Tina, I can say she is our villain. We know what's going to happen. Be prepared. I will continue to repeat it. She will never be in the top 4. And if we really had a season-long villain, I was more prone to believe that they would make Candy or Rosé, not Tina. And that's her run on Drag Race. Now, who do we have? Candy. For Candy, it doesn't look good. I mean, even though she still has her positive moments in the show, we know that the confessionals are those moments in which the contestant have a direct line with us, the viewers. If they decided to make us see the ugly in Candy, well, that's where her edit is going to go. One way or the other. Who else do we have? Well, look at Gottmik. This episode is all about Gottmik. I would go as far as saying that it was tailored on her, for some reason. And understand me, I told you last time, I like Gottmik. The problem is, when you push so much on one edit, people are going to feel pushed away. You remember what happened with Gigi? People hated her. Not because she was Gigi, this was before all the social media frenzy that happened during the finale. all they knew about Gigi was her headed, and they hated it. And they projected that on the person. So it's going to happen the same for Gottmik, I have no doubt about it. Maybe with the fact that she is trans, people will be more scared to speak out for fear of being pointed at as transphobic. Maybe. Moving on, who do we have? Elliot. Despite some snarky comments during the episode in general, Elliot's confessionals are pretty good. In my opinion, she had no negative ones. There were only positive ones. Honestly, I think that in the beginning of the season, they have like 4 or 5 queens, and they think, okay, nobody wants to be the villain, but we need to have villains. So let's take these 4 or 5 queens and poke them as much as we can. Let's put them in the bottom. Let's make them lose against people they know. Let's put them in uncomfortable situation. Maybe let's suggest something in there here, then we'll create controversial situation. Let's try to stir the pot. I think Elliot was in this pool, and this is why, looking back, some of her edits look like, somebody really went down and said, oh, we need to polish Elliot, she is not a villain. But something got left behind. Lala, it's strange to understand what's happening to her, because she's getting a lot of praise, but at the same time, she didn't win anything during this episode. She still got a lot of praise, which is so much better than whatever happens to Tina, Candy, or even Elliot. When you compare, for example, Lala to Simone or Olivia, it looks like she's falling behind. I see Lala more as kind of a redemption edit. On the main stage, what I noticed was a ton of praise for Simone. There is RuPaul, she even calls her a star. She has this moment. Now, please understand, I have nothing against Simone. The problem is that when you look back at the outfits, she basically has a something on it that reads boy, and look at everyone else. Look at everyone else. I understand it. Fashion is something that I don't really get. Fashion is something that is subjective, whatever it is. But, it was a little bit of a stretch. I saw a ton of mental gymnastic going on to justify Simone winning this challenge, because, let's be honest, I think that Elliot should have won. And that's all of them. I added the confessionals at the very beginning of the episode from the group of the bottom queens, but there is absolutely no data. One thing that I want to say about Utica, since Tina, which is our other lovable weirdo on the show, since she has been portrayed as a villain, it means that Utica is safe. Either she will get the lovable underdog weirdo headed, and she will go all the way to the top, or she will stop very close to it. Because remember, they will not forget the lesson from season 7. It's a matter of having variety. So, is someone going home for the next episode? I don't think so. I think they're going to do the same thing that they did last season. But just in case they do, let's make our prediction. I don't think Rosé is going anywhere. She has like 400 storylines attached to her. She's not going anywhere. Utica is not going anywhere. We just talked about it. Tamisha, I don't know, but it's not a good look if they have an episode with only one black queen and then the black queen goes home. I would exclude Tamisha as well. We are left with Joey, Denali, and Kimora. Now, the only one that I could exclude from this is Denali, because she had a ton of shady noises in episode 1, and I think she was one of those queens who was actively poked in order to become a possible plausible villain. In my opinion, she basically won, yet she was put on the bottom and put under pressure. So for me, this tells me there might be a storyline there. I'm going to say Joy and Kimora, and then we will see if this line of reasoning actually works. And that was it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining. If you cannot wait until the next chop, join us on Sunday, since this is still a live show that goes on every Sunday. Please like the video, subscribe of course, and share it, because it will really help the channel a lot. And if you want to help us a little bit more, we also have the Patreon. Have a great week, and I will see you next time.